بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
اللهم أخرجني من ظلمات الوهم وأكرمني بنور الفهم اللهم افتح علينا أبواب رحمتك وانشر علينا خزائن علومك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. Alhamdulillah, we have tawfiq to continue our study of 40 hadith, and as you know, it is our 100th session, and inshallah today we want to finish hadith number 30. And I am grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that gave us as a group, as a community, as a family, tawfiq to spend over 100 weeks sometime reading and reviewing this book and trying to improve ourselves. As you remember, hadith number 30 is about different types of hearts. And we have already had some discussions about these types of hearts. And then today we want to talk about the heart of munafiq, hypocrite, and about the heart being upside down in mushrikeen, but also it can be in people who have faith, but they have problem of heedlessness and ghafla. Before I go to the text, I would like to remind ourselves of the text of the hadith before I go to the text of the book. So the hadith was from Imam Baqir alayhi salam, Inna al-quluba arba'ah, truly hearts are four, means four types. Qalbun fihin nifaqun wa imanun, the heart in which there is nifaq and iman, it's a combination. Wa qalbun mankusun, the heart which is upside down. Wa qalbun matbu'un, the one which is sealed. Wa qalbun azhar ajrad, the heart which is shining and is bright. And the narrator says, I asked, what is azhar? And Imam said, fihe kahayat as-siraj, inside this heart there is something like lantern. Matbu, the one which is sealed, qalbul munafiq, which is something that we want to talk about it today. Ammal azhar, the one which is bright and shining, faqalbul mu'min, in a'tahu shakara wa in ibtalahu sabara. If Allah gives mu'min his blessings, he's grateful or she's grateful. Wa in ibtalahu, and if Allah tests them and tries them, sabara, they are patient. We will talk about this i'ta and ibtila, so remember this. Ammal mankus faqalbul mushrik, the heart which is upside down is the heart of polytheist. Then Imam alayhi salam recited this ayah, afaman yamshi mukibban ala wajhih ahda amman yamshi sawiyan ala siratin mustaqim. Is the one who is walking upside down, the head is towards the ground and the feet is towards the sky, is such person more guided, or the one who is walking on the right path and sawiyan, in the right shape and form, head is above and leg is down? Which one is ahda? Which one is more guided? So mu'min, as we explained, is on sirat mustaqim and is in a balanced position. We talked about this a lot. أما القلب الذي فيه إيمان ونفاق. So we have qalb mushrik, qalb munafiq, qalb mu'min, but we have also qalb of mixture. There is iman, there is nifaq. فهم قوم كانوا بالطائف. There were some people in the city of Ta'if, and of course there are people like them everywhere today and in the course of history, that they had some aspects of iman and some aspects of nifaq. So they were not 100% munafiq and they were not completely mu'min. فَإِنْ أَتْرَكَ أحدهم أجله على نفاقه. When someone was dying in the form of nifaq, so those days or those hours that they were acting as munafiq, then halaka, then they would die without iman and would be destroyed. وَإِنْ أَدْرَكَهُ عَلَى إِيمَانه, but if their deadline ajal comes when they were in good form, and naja, they would be saved. So this was the hadith. Now let's go to the explanation. So the first thing, we have two headings today, is tatmimun, is a kind of appendix or a kind of conclusion, but it means a kind of final extra point. And there is another one about qafla and being upside down. There are two things today. So this one first is about the heart of munafiq and the difference of between heart of munafiq and heart of mu'min. Munafiq is the one who expresses iman. He pretends to be mu'min, but inside maybe has no faith, or maybe he's mushrik. Either he's atheist, or maybe he's polytheist. Maybe he's gnostic, someone who doesn't know, agnostic. So there are different possibilities, but what is shared by all munafiqeen is that they express iman without really being mu'min. Mu'min is in the condition of fitrah. It is balanced. He's balanced. The heart is balanced. And they have not gone out of the straight path. They accept what is revealed by Allah through the Prophet, or what they understand with their aql. This is why their heart is maftuh. It's not matbu'. It's not sealed. It's not closed and locked. It's open. Fath means to open. Of course, there is a possibility that maybe this refers to three types of fath, conquest, that we mentioned before. If you remember, some sessions back, we had a discussion about fathun qarib, fathun mubin, and fath mutlaq. Mystics, based on some of the verses of the Quran, inna fatahna laka fathan mubina, or idha ja'a nasrullahi wal fath, or nasrun min Allah wa fathun qarib. So they have distinguished between three types of fath. Fath mubin, obvious conquest, fath qarib, near, and fath mutlaq, without any adjective, idha ja'a nasrullahi wal fath. And we said that this is a matter of how much success as wayfarer is making in getting closer to the actions or names of God or essence of God, how much he's getting rid of his own ego. So we discuss maftuh can be referring to those three conquests, or in a general sense means open, opposite to matbu', which means sealed, because taba Allahu ala qulubihim means Allah has sealed. When there is a letter and this is a special document, for example, they don't just put a glue, they put some seal, they melt the seal, and with a stamp they impress the stamp on the seal, and when it is cold, then that impression remains. And if someone wants to open the letter, they have to break it. So some hearts are unfortunately sealed like this. Okay, so munafiq, because of serious moral issues. And when I was reading this part for getting ready for the class, it came to my mind that how beautiful is that in Islam, the main thing is akhlaq. The main thing is your traits of character. We are not, after names or after even dogmas and doctrines as such. We are after qualities of the heart, and those dogmas are to help with this. But if you don't have these things, those dogmas have not worked for you. For example, Imam Khomeini is talking about heart of munafiq is, with kodurat, with impurities and darknesses which conflict with fitrah. There is bias, there is blamed traits of character, there is hubb nafs, excessive love for themselves in an egoistic way, not positive love for yourself. Hubb jah, love for fame and position. So you see, our problem with nifaq is this. Our problem with nifaq is not a political problem. Or better to say that even our political issues are not really political in nature. If we are good mu'min, our political issues are all also moral issues, which are now translated into political terms and concepts. Otherwise, for us, it's all a matter of virtue. Every friendship or every disassociation, every decision, every plan is all a matter of how we can serve virtues and how we can have virtuous life and how can we promote virtues. Everything is a matter of virtues. And therefore, how misguided we would be and how much far away we would be from Islam, through Islam, if we are satisfied with just some doctrines and some practices and we don't develop these traits of character. If I have these qualities that Imam Khomeini says about munafiq, I am then in reality munafiq or similar to munafiq. And as he would say, we must be very careful and very worried that we may lose our iman. This superficial iman without the roots in the heart cannot remain intact. It can be taken away with some challenge, with some difficulties, with some big tests. So, munafiq, Imam Khomeini says, his heart is like a page of paper, a sheet of paper that is completely dirty, and there is no space to write anything. It's completely full of, for example, inks. There is no space that you can write anything. Then he says, mushrik and munafiq have sometimes more than one feature. For example, mushrik is the one that is doing ibadah, so is somehow submitting himself to some realities. I mean by realities, not true things. I mean, for example, an idol. This is something, an object which is a real object, but it's not a real God. So I'm not talking about a real God, but I'm saying that some entities, some objects, some realities, in the sense that there are things that outside or inside that he is worshipping, he is serving. So there is some element of surrendering and devotion, but it's to the wrong things. So this is upside down. This is mankus. Munafiq can be like mushrik. So sometimes a mushrik can be munafiq. Is a mushrik who is pretending to be mu'min, or atheist, or agnostic. So therefore, munafiq can have a heart which is sealed, but also can have a heart which is upside down. There's no problem. Can be sealed and upside down. Both of them can happen. Then about the heart of mu'min, which is maftuh and open, two qualities in particular are highlighted. One is in a'tahu shakara, gratitude at the time of receiving blessings, at the time of afiyah and ease. Wa in ibtalahu sabara. Imam Khomeini says the reason these two are highlighted is because they are very important features of mu'min. And he says, از امهات صفات جمیله است. These are like mother and roots for other beautiful qualities. And he says از آنها صفات جمیله دیگر منشعب شود. Other beautiful traits of character originate from sabr and shukr. In previous discussions we talked about these two, and also in Mahajjatul Bayda we had whole section on sabr and on shukr in Hawz Akhlaq series. And also i'ta and ibtila are two important acts of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tests and tries. These are also highlighted as actions of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, although both of them are somehow a matter of favor and lutf of Allah, but we may think ibtila is an action of glory and jalal, not jamal and beauty. But in reality, both of them are from His mercy and both are from His beautiful perfection. Then finally, about ghafla, about heedlessness. And he says that if souls are completely directed towards dunya and restoring and developing dunya not in the sense of environment and physical world. Dunya is a matter of attachment, belonging, and relying on dunya. So it's a matter of your approach. We cannot say dunya is, for example, earth or environment or house even or car. These are not dunya. Dunya in Quran and Hadith is our attachment to these things. These things by themselves are not bad. Our attachment is a bad thing. If the things that have to serve me in my journey become my aim, this is the problem. And it is my problem, not their problem. If I choose a means as aim, the means is not responsible. I am responsible. So, dunya is a big problem in this sense. And even if someone has aqidah about mabda and ma'ad, about origin and resurrection, about God and resurrection, but has a hubb dunya, his heart is mankus, upside down. So it doesn't need to be mushrik. Or you can say it doesn't need to be a full-fledged mushrik. It doesn't need to be an idol worshipper. إن يؤمن أكثرهم بالله إلا وهم مشركون. Many mu'mineen also have traces of shirk. حب الدنيا is a shirk. حب الجاه, which is a branch of dunya, is shirk. حب المال is shirk. So Imam Khomeini says these also can make our heart upside down, even if we may have iman. And as we said before, for example, when we were talking about hadith number 9, which was about a person who has dhu lisanain, that, in presence he praises, in absence, for example, blames. We said these people on the day of judgment also they might be resurrected in this way, but from fire. They would have, tongues from fire, for example. So shouldn't be surprised that if we say that a mu'min also can have a heart which is upside down, because a mu'min can also suffer from shirk. A mu'min can also suffer from nifaq. So there can be some closure, some closeness in the heart also. Not fully fledged mushrik, not full-fledged munafiq, but traces of that can be there. And then he says, if someone is expressing iman but not acting upon iman, and there is no fear in the heart, so he's a kind of munafiq. And what we have to all be careful about, and he says, یکی از مهماتی که باید نفوس ضعیفه ما. This is one of the things that our weak souls should pay much attention, is that we should make sure that our iman bears fruits. Our iman is put into practice. Our iman is let to grow roots in our heart so that it can remain with us forever. Otherwise, there is a chance that we may lose our iman before dying. So he says, we have to make firm our iman. We have to let the roots of iman grow in our heart. And in this way, inshallah, nothing can shake and remove our iman. And this amana, this trust of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is given to us, which is a heart which is pure and it's with fitra of God, a godly nature, we should keep it safe and intact and protect it from shaitan and give it back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So alhamdulillah, hadith number 30 also finished, and inshallah biiznillah next week we will talk about hadith number 31, which is about the ma'rifah of Allah that Prophet and Imams alayhimus salam had. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen.